The Hubble telescope is the greatest astronomical device ever built. Since its launch in 1990, the Hubble telescope has captured a magnificent universe we have never seen before. Whether it is a galaxy millions of light years away or thousands of light years away, the Hubble telescope, through its own powerful eyes, captured a wealth of images of celestial bodies and nebulae from the distant universe. These images have become humanity's most valuable asset. With the help of the Hubble telescope, we can begin to truly understand the universe, to understand the magnificence of color in regions of the universe that are beyond our reach. In the more than 30 years that the Hubble telescope has been searching for the light of the universe, in addition to photographing these stunning distant galaxies, scientists also used Hubble to photograph many of the solar series of ladders. Thanks to the might of the Hubble telescope, he brought us a brand new image of the solar system. And today we're going to follow the Hubble telescope to see the magnificent solar system photographed by Hubble. This is the moon. It is also the closest ladder to humans. Humans landed on the moon in the late 1960s, and they get us close-up pictures of the moon. Since the moon is only 380,000 kilometers away, therefore, we can obtain relatively clear images of the moon using astronomical telescopes on Earth. In 1991, a year after Hubble took off, scientists from NASA used the Hubble telescope to take a picture of the moon. The picture you see here is from Hubble. Due to the age, this photo has been taken many times by Yasso as well as with a lower resolution. However, we can still use him to see the moon in clearer detail. Huge craters on the moon, the vast lunar sea, and the radiation patterns of the convenient road are clearly visible. Mars is currently the most popular celestial body for humans to land on. It's also 55 million kilometers away. More than 400 million kilometers. It's too far away to see Mars as it should be to see the moon. When we look at Mars with telescopes on Earth, due to the limitations of distance and the influence of atmospheric disturbances, so that we can only see the general appearance and overall color of Mars, it's almost impossible to see a clear Mars. The Hubble telescope is different. It's above the Earth and it has a very large aperture lens, so it was able to capture a clearer breath. What you're looking at right now is Mars, taken by the Hubble telescope on July 18, 2018. In Hubble's image, we see a very clear picture of Mars. Compare, Mars appears as an orange-yellow in the image. The white material at its poles is due to the large amount of dry ice covering it. When we take a closer look, we can even see two moving lights around Mars. Those are the two moons of Mars, Firefly 1 and Firefly 2. This is Jupiter, more than 780 million kilometers from us. Although it is very far away from us, but Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. So we have long exposures and post-corrections here on Earth with telescopes, still able to get a clearer image of Jupiter. The same Hubble telescope took pictures of Jupiter. And the picture you're looking at here is an image taken by the Hubble telescope on August 25, 2020. This kind of high-resolution picture cannot be taken with a telescope on Earth. Scientists used Hubble to take multiple images of Jupiter and used post-compositing techniques to synthesize these photos into a 3D video of Jupiter. And here we see an image of Jupiter as it rotates. The colorful cloud bands flowing above Jupiter and the famous Great Red Spot are clearly visible. Saturn is the most dreamy staircase in the solar system because it has this huge aura of beauty. On Earth, when we look at Saturn through a telescope, you can see the tremendous rings of Saturn. This is a graphic image captured by Hubble Eurobook on June 20th, 2019. With the help of this image, we can see a figure as realistic as it can be under visible light. Saturn, with its earthy yellow hue, is surrounded by giant rings. This massive aura is made up of a massive amount of ice-encased rubble and power. The rings are not perfectly aligned. It's like the rings are constantly superimposing around Saturn. So the rings are a structure with distinct slits. In this image, we see a huge gap in Saturn's rings. That's the famous Cassini Peak. This is a huge pale blue rainbow galaxy in the Skynet system. It is 2.60 billion kilometers away from us. So we can't see it in detail with a telescope on Earth. This is Uranus, taken by the Hubble telescope. Now, we can use the Hubble telescope to get a general view of what Uranus might look like. However, the great distance makes it impossible for Hubble to show the clearer appearance of Uranus. This is Sea King. It is also the last planet in the solar system. It's more than 450 billion kilometers away. So far, there is only one human exploration, a close visit to Haiwangxing. Therefore, most of the time, humans need the help of the Hubble telescope to observe Aquaman. This is Neptune, taken by the Hubble telescope. Neptune and Uranus are blue planets. However, Neptune is a bit more blue than Uranus. A day on Neptune lasts about 16 hours. So scientists use the Hubble telescope to take images of Neptune every 4 hours, ultimately synthesized into the 3D image you see now. We can also see the moons of Neptune. It orbits Neptune. This is confused. It is also a dwarf star located in the large area of Bo. It's more than 6 billion kilometers away. At such a distance, the sunlight he reflects is extremely weak. This makes the bewildered star photographed by the Hubble telescope appear only as a circular mosaic. What about Mercury and Venus? Why haven't scientists used the Harvard telescope to take detailed pictures of Mercury and Venus? This is because Mercury and Venus are located in the inner solar system. When Mercury and Venus are on the opposite side of the solar system, due to the blocking of the sun, we couldn't film them. And when they were between the Earth and the sun, as he faces the sun, the back faces the Earth, and so Hubble couldn't photograph them in visible light. And even looking at them directly could make it possible for intense sunlight to disrupt Hubble. This makes it almost impossible for Hubble to photograph Mercury and the monstrosities in visible light. Atomic and hydrogen bombs are the most powerful thermal weapons currently available to mankind. They can easily destroy a city and wipe out hundreds of thousands of humans and countless creatures. So are atomic and hydrogen bombs really that powerful? October 30th, 1961. The most powerful bomb in human history went off. A giant manifest codenamed AN-602 detonated in the new tunnel. Shocked the world. The radius of the fireball created by the explosion reached a staggering 4,600 meters. This caused a hot fireball to quickly sweep the ground and quickly spread to the height of the throw. The mushroom cloud created by the explosion was nearly 40 kilometers wide, about 64 kilometers high. That's more than 7 times the altitude of Mount Everest. so that it can be seen from nearly 1,000 kilometers away. The hot air generated by the explosion can even cause third-degree burns to people up to 51 kilometers away. At the same time, houses 50 kilometers away from the blast site were severely damaged. The electromagnetic pulse wave after the explosion caused an hour of radio communication, gap period. The resulting atmospheric disturbance surrounds the Earth. Someone even generated his micro. It shook the entire Eurasian continent and caused a slight displacement. Later, according to the statistics, AN 602 equivalent is approximately 60 million tons. That's 3,864 times the amount invested in Hiroshima and the long-term little boy atomic bombs at the end of World War II. 2,300 times the size of the atomic bomb. It is also the most powerful bomb ever detonated by humans. He could easily destroy several cities in a small country. Enough to cause deep fear. Although atomic and hydrogen bombs are so powerful, and yet, as we zoom out into the universe, the power of the atomic bomb and the hydrogen bomb seems so insignificant. According to the current consensus in the scientific community, AN 602 is the second largest known explosion in the world, second only to causing the extinction of the dinosaurs, the Chicxulub and Rock Pit incident, the asteroid that created the original sound of the world. And this asteroid is just a latter 10 kilometers in diameter. However, because he was flying towards the Earth at an extremely high speed, causing powerful shock waves and explosions, unleashes up to 5.0, 10 to 23 releases of energy. It caused a massive tsunami, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, and puts a lot of dust into the atmosphere. Complete sun cover. Revolutionized the global climate. This caused the famous fifth mass extinction event of life. Such crater attacks are not uncommon in the solar system. In 1994, millions of people witnessed a cosmic event unprecedented in human history. A fragment of a comet named Shoemaker List 9 plunged into the Enlightenment atmosphere. The pieces line up over 160,000 kilometers. The largest piece is about 4 kilometers wide. He rained down on Jupiter at 60 kilometers per second. It's a very bright light. So much so that we can observe the time of this terrifying meteorite impact on the Earth. Scientists expect more than 5 days from 4:15 on July 17th to 8:12 on July 22nd, 1994. More than 20 pieces of SL9 smashed into Jupiter one after another. That's the equivalent of 21 atomic bombs going off uninterrupted over Jupiter for 130 hours. Unleashed the explosive energy of about 400,000 tons of TNT. This is the power of an explosion in the universe, to easily surpass the most powerful list in the human world. However, this explosion world is just a trivial small wave in the universe. That was all. We had the most powerful explosions in the universe, superstar explosions. Superstar explosions are the behavior of certain stars, a type of giant field explosion experienced when the transformation is close to tacit understanding. This explosion is extremely bright. Bursts of electromagnetic radiation in the process can often illuminate the entire information it carries, and can last for weeks to months before gradually decaying into invisibility. Scientists estimate that, during this period of time, a single supernova emits as much energy as the Sun does in its entire lifetime. The Sun radiates about 92 energy per second, and a TNT lamp is on in Chiang Mai. That is to say, the total energy radiated by the Sun in 10 billion years is released in a few weeks or months. This energy is unimaginable, and the most powerful weapon of mankind. Atomic and hydrogen bombs may not be as powerful as 1,000 of the energy of this explosive world. Of course, there are worlds in the universe that are much more violent than supernovae, like black holes swallowing rocks, galaxies colliding lights. 1,000,000 of the energy released at these times could easily destroy our planet and even the solar system. Back to the great weapons that we have built, the atomic and the hydrogen bombs. They could easily destroy a city. It can even destroy the Earth's biosphere to a certain extent. However, they cannot cause devastating harm to the Earth. Not worth mentioning in the universe. Compared to the vastness of the universe, we humans are still too small. If you were thrown into Andromeda, how would information return to Earth? This is an unrealistic question, but it's an interesting question. Because there is currently no one who can throw you into Andromeda information. You can't survive the Andromeda message either. It is impossible to cross millions of Chinese New Year to return to Earth. Then we get rid of all these properties. Then once you throw your information into Andromeda, how do we get back to Earth? First, we need to understand that the Earth is very small in the universe. Once we look up at the galaxies, all we can see will be stars. Planets like Earth tend to hide from dust. It's almost invisible. Then all we need is how to drive in Andromeda. It must be the position of the solar system. First, when we get to the Andromeda table, whether we are at the edge or the core of the Andromeda seat, the first thing we have to do is locate the location of the Milky Way galaxy on the Andromeda torture mat. Same as on Earth. We need to use our eyes to search for luck in galaxies as far as we can see. This is the Andromeda message we see on Earth. Because it's more than 2.54 million light-years away. Therefore, the Andromeda information we see on Earth is not very obvious. However, we can still see its exact location. So we are everywhere in the Andromeda message. But the diameter of the Milky Way is much smaller than Andromeda. So it may be difficult for us to see the Milky Way. And if our luck is bad enough, our galaxy may be obscured by dust and celestial bodies within the Andromeda message. Therefore, once this situation is encountered, we need to recite the Andromeda message along a straight line. Explore the location of the Milky Way in a wide field of view, since the Milky Way and Andromeda are the two largest galaxies in the local group. So it's not that hard to pinpoint the location of the Milky Way. When we find the location of the Milky Way, you can leave the Andromeda message and fly to the region where the Milky Way is located. And at this point, we will face the next problem: how to locate the position of the solar system across the galaxy. There are about 200 billion to 400 billion stars. Yellow dwarfs like the Sun make up about 2 to 5%. Despite this, even if we remove the other 95% of the stars, stars like the Sun have at least 4 billion. To find the Sun from this 4 billion is almost a very difficult thing. However, at this point, we can look for the solar system by the location of the solar system. To find the location of the solar system, we must understand the general structure of the Milky Way galaxy. This is a view from above of our own galaxy. It's a hemorrhagic type. It's an elliptical disk. It has a huge disk structure. The Milky Way has silver cores from the inside out. Galaxy silver plate, silver jade, and silver cotton. He has 4 very distinct and fairly symmetrical suspension walls. The walls are about 4,500 light-years apart. Fortunately, our solar system is not located on these 4 large suspended walls. It's on a smaller suspended Orion wall. This wall is located between the wall of the star and the bottom wall of the horseboat. Length is about 20,000 light-years. It is approximately 26,000 light-years from the center of the Milky Way. Therefore, we can use this information to locate the location of Orion's wall in the galaxy. when we can locate Orion Wall. We're pretty close to sighing. And in Orion's wall, of course, there are lots of stars and clusters. It's not easy to find the sun here. We can define a location at this point. 3/4 of Orion's wall is a region called the local cloud. This is a region of interstellar clouds that covers about 30 years. Our solar system is also located here, as are Proxima Vega and Fomalhaut. After finding this interstellar rain, it's not practical to go directly to a single sun. We need to locate the sun in terms of stars. And what we're looking for is condensed Proxima Centauri of the sun. Although Proxima Centauri is an infrared star, much smaller than our sun. However, Proxima Centauri is a 3-core star system. And in the vicinity of Proxima Centauri are 2 other larger stars. They are called Southgate 2a, respectively. The orbital period of the Southgate 2b, Southgate 2ab system is 79.91 points. The orbital eccentricity is 0.5179. Their closest distance is 1.68 billion kilometers. That's roughly the distance between the Sun and Saturn. The farthest distance is 5.33 billion kilometers, equivalent to the distance between the Sun and Pluto. So as long as we define the local giant, we can search for the 3 core systems. That's 3 very close stars. One of them has a red shape, a yellow main whisker. The other one has an orange main whisker. Therefore, we can take advantage of this condition. Good to find the location of Proxima Centauri in the natural memory. When we must not have reached Proxima Centauri, we can find our sun through Proxima Centauri. Because Proxima Centauri is the closest star to the sun, only 4.22 light-years away, when we find our sun, it becomes easy to find the Earth. The Earth is about 150 million kilometers from the sun. We just need to search 150 million kilometers from the sun. We can find our Earth very quickly. A blue ladder. And at this time, we will reach the sky above the Earth. Complete a fun trip. From 2.54 million kilometers away to the Earth where we live. Back to an insignificant minister. In 1977, 2 interstellar probes in LHSA, Voyager 2 and Voyager 1, were successfully launched. They will take advantage of a once-in-a-generation planetary alignment opportunity, a one-time visit to the 4 giant stars of the Sun series. Colorful planet. However, human scientists, what I didn't expect was, years later, 2 Voyager ships sent us back shocking images of lovers. February 25, 1979. Voyager 1 probe makes a close-up visit to the tomb and skimmed 920 million kilometers of migration. The first close-up high-definition image of the tomb line read for humans during the tomb attack. Although the Great Red Spot was discovered by humans hundreds of years ago, Jupiter was also visited by probes before Voyager 1. Captured close-up images of the Great Red Spot. However, due to intense remoteness and relatively backward technology, so we've never had a bright red up close before Voyager 1. And what you're seeing here is from Voyager 1. This is a real image taken by Voyager 1. We can see in the video a continuous flowing cloud storm at the length of Jupiter. These storms come in different colors. Together, they make up Jupiter's curious exterior features. And the most shocking is the Great Red Spot on Jupiter. From the video sent back by Voyager 1, we can clearly see the cross-section of 160 kilometers in size. Colorful, wavy clouds to the west. That's the area of bright red activity. There are very complex and variable storms and movements out there. The Great Red Spot is the largest storm on Jupiter. It is also one of the most striking features on Jupiter's surface. It's about 25,000 kilometers long. Upper and lower spans 12,000 kilometers. So much so that we can see it with telescopes on Earth. He is like a giant eye on Jupiter, looking up at the dark and hazy universe. We feel deep fear. The Great Red Shift rotates counterclockwise every 6 Earth days. Silver towers up to 8 kilometers high are often rolled up. Scientists estimate that red spots have been around for at least 200 to 350 years. He has changed color and shape, but it never completely disappeared. Although according to current astronomical observations, although the Great Red Spot has been shrinking, however, today he can still easily put down our entire Earth. 1980 and 1981. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 flew past Saturn's tents. During a close flyby of Saturn, traveler Hiroshi talks about taking a shocking image. And that is that there is a geometric storm at the North Pole of Saturn. This is the giant T-shirt hexagonal storm at Saturn's North Pole. Hexagonal storms are the strangest storms in the solar system. Scientists have never seen such a peculiar storm. It has a pronounced right-hand shape. This peculiar and orderly appearance has never been seen on Earth. Because in our knowledge, storms mostly take on a spiral shape. This is due to storm's autobiography. Such a geometric shape is almost impossible. But it's just above Saturn. This storm does appear. His span is approximately 25,000 kilometers. Then a brand new Saturn probe, Cassini, happened. Gives us a much clearer picture of Saturn's hexagonal storm. Data sent back by Cassini. We learned that the hexagonal storm rotates at almost the same speed as Saturn's rings. It's moving outward with winds of up to about 360 kilometers. He has also changed color, transitioned from blue to gold. Although many scientists have speculated about the formation of hexagonal storms, however, these so-called conjectures have not been effectively confirmed. He's still an unsolved distance in the solar system. August 25, 1989, after 12 years of meeting with Voyager 2 on the way. Neptune's nearest point of 4,127 kilometers is associated with Neptune. This is the first time humans have seen Neptune's true gaze from a position in between. It was also the first time humans used a probe to detect Neptune. Via Voyager 2, we saw the most realistic image of Neptune 450 billion kilometers away. Scientists have taken photos and data from Voyager 2. Discovered one of the most amazing storms. That was the Neptune storm cyclone that came to be known as the Great Black Spot. The Great Dark Spot is located at 22 degrees south latitude of Neptune, same as all airband information. Neptune's atmosphere contains terrifying large storms, and the Great Dark Spot is one of the most amazing. When the Voyager 2 spacecraft flew by Neptune in 1989, the depth of the Great Black Spot at that time was about 5,000 kilometers, spans up to 10,000 kilometers. The range is approximately 13,000 to 6,600 kilometers. Although the Great Black Spot is not as large as Jupiter's bright red, however, his wind speed is extremely fast, blowing through the entire star at a speed of 2,000 kilometers per hour. Is the well-deserved king of wind speeds in the solar system. However, unfortunately, later, when scientists used the Harvard telescope to observe Neptune, this big black spot has mysteriously disappeared. Due to the fact that after Voyager 2, no spacecraft has ever taken a close-up picture of Neptune. Therefore, scientists are unable to determine whether the Great Dark Spot is really gone or covered up. However, the Great Dark Spot still became one of the 3 major storms in the solar system, because he set the record for the fastest wind in the solar system. Solar System Celestial Body Volume Ranking. The first sun, 99.86% of the total mass of the entire solar system, is concentrated in the sun. That's what makes the sun the size king of the solar system. It is also the only star in the entire solar system. It's about 392 million kilometers in diameter. Its volume is about 1.30 million times that of the Earth. Second place, Jupiter. Jupiter is one of the 8 planets in the solar system. It is also one of the 7 planets. It is also the second largest ladder in the solar system after the Sun. It is precisely because of the existence of Jupiter that would protect our planet from most meteorites. That is to say, the reason why the Earth can thrive in a safe environment. Jupiter is to blame. The diameter of Jupiter is about 5 kilometers across. That's just to say that the Sun is about 1,000 times the size of Jupiter. Jupiter is roughly equivalent to 1,321 Earths. Third place, Saturn. Like Jupiter, Saturn is also a giant star. It is also the most beautiful planet in the solar system. Tyllusion has a very beautiful aura. Saturn's diameter is about 120,000 kilometers, so Jupiter is about 1.76 times the size of Saturn. Saturn is roughly equivalent to 745 Earths. Fourth place, Uranus. Uranus is the 7th of the 8 planets in the solar system. It lies between Saturn and Neptune. It is also every lying and rotating star in the Sun star. As a typical gaseous breath, most of astronomy is made up of gaseous matter. However, due to the distance, makes it almost impossible for us humans to see astronomical details from Earth. As of 2021, only one spacecraft, Voyager 2, has visited Uranus. The diameter of Uranus is about 50,000 kilometers. It is equivalent to about 65 Earths. Fifth place, Neptune. Neptune is the most distant solar system planet ever discovered by humans. It is also the last planet in the solar system. It's like Uranus. So far, only Voyager 2 has visited Sea King. The diameter of the star Neptune is about 49,000 kilometers. A bit smaller than Uranus? It's about 57 times the size of the Earth. Sixth place, Earth. Throughout the solar system, except for the Sun and the 4 colorful planets, the Earth is the largest ladder. It is home 7 billion humans and tens of millions of species. It is also our only living home today. The diameter of the Earth is approximately 12,142 kilometers, although the size of the Earth is the 6th largest in the solar system. However, the density of the Earth is the highest in the solar system. Seventh place, Venus. Venus is the 2nd star in the solar system from the inside out. It is also the hottest object in the solar system other than the Sun. The thick atmosphere makes him like a thick quilt. Energy from the Sun is locked to the surface of Venus by this quilt. The diameter of Venus is about 12,100 kilometers. Its volume is approximately 86% that of the Earth. Eighth place, Mars. Throughout the solar system, except for the Moon and the Earth, humans are most familiar with Mars. There are many human probes and space orbiters on the present-day Martian continent. At this point, we're getting a lot of realistic images of Mars. The diameter of Mars is only 6,779 kilometers. That's about half the size of the Earth. So Mars is only about 15% the size of Earth. Ninth place, Muvison. It's hard to imagine that the 9th planet is not Mercury, one of the 8 planets in Tyuan West. It's a threat to Jupiter. Muvison, aka Ganymede. It is the largest moon in the solar system. It's about 5,262 kilometers in diameter, just over 1,500 kilometers smaller than Mars, one of the 8 planets. And its volume is only about 7% of the Earth's volume. Titan is the largest moon of Saturn, also known as Titan. Humans have reached the surface of Titan using the Hydra Tiny probe and give us the most realistic view of Titan's continent. It is also the only extraterrestrial satellite ladder that humans have landed on so far. The diameter of Titan is about 550 kilometers, close to the last 30. It's about 6.6% the size of the Earth. What about Mercury, one of the 8 planets in the solar system? Where will he rank in the entire solar system? Welcome to the next episode of Solar System Astro Sports and the Rankings. It's an interstellar probe launched by humans. It departed from Earth on January 19, 2006. After a 9.5-year interstellar journey, finally reached the Pluto system. However, due to the fact that the fuel carried by Xingshi is extremely limited, plus it's extremely difficult to get into Pluto's orbit. So my heart is so good that I just flew over more than 10,000 kilometers away from the lemon mirror. He glanced at Pluto. Continue to fly towards the more prairie-like Kyibo belt. January 2019. After 3.5 years of economic travel, my heart has come to a region of the universe that humans have never designed. It's right here, and I photographed this incredible staircase. He's the famous asteroid, the ends of the Earth. The photo you see now, it is the real image of the asteroid in the ends of the Earth that was photographed with great effort. At that time, the Shinsei spacecraft flew past the asteroid at a speed of 50,000 kilometers per hour, close to 8,162 kilometers from the asteroid. Here, Shinsei took several photos of the asteroid in the ends of the Earth. These pictures were originally taken at 33 meters per pixel. Scientists in Lhasa think it's a good idea. Ever. It might even be the clearest photograph he's ever taken in his life. Scientists combined these photos, finally got the most accurate item of this little star. So what is the magic of asteroids in the ends of the Earth? Why would they want to film him? The asteroid was first released on June 3, 1997. Zhu Jing, an astronomer from China, was assisted by an assistant. Traces of asteroids in the ends of the Earth were discovered for the first time at the Xinglong Observation Base of the National Astronomical Observatory in Hebei Province. This is also the first time this celestial body has entered the field of vision of human civilization. It was provisionally named 1997 LK at that time, July 14, 2002. The International Minor Planet Center has officially announced that it has awarded asteroid 1997 LK the permanent official number 9668. Its name belongs to the National Observatory of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. February 2, 2008. Approved by the Committee on Nomenclature of Small Objects of the International Astronomical Union. The National Astronomical Observatory officially named the small type with the international permanent number of September 68 as the end of the Earth type. The ends of the Earth are shaped in light red. There are 2 spherical parts connected, although it is a small shape. The tower we see in the video doesn't seem to be that big either. However, the total length of the true ends of the Earth reaches 31 kilometers, enough to hire every city. Precisely because of this, it takes a long time to take his picture thousands of kilometers away. Later, scientists conducted a more detailed analysis based on photos taken by the well-intentioned and found that the 2 components that make up the ends of the Earth are not spheres.